around 3:00 a.m., you're wide awake, staring at the ceiling, just mentally rewriting an email you sent like 12 hours ago.
Oh, yeah, we have all been there.
Right. Or you're calculating how a delayed flight next Tuesday is going to, completely ruin your entire week. That heavy, exhausting need to control every single detail of your life just to feel safe.
It really is a heavy burden.
It is. But what if the cure for it wasn't hidden inside a dense 300-page clinical psychology manual? What if it was tucked away in a simple children's fable? Welcome to the Living Well, Living Rich podcast.
I love this topic so much.
Today's deep dive is all about stripping down one of the most universal adult pain points. We were talking about the trap of chronic overcontrol and the anxiety that comes with it.
Yeah, because we treat chronic control as this necessary modern survival skill. We try to just white-knuckle our way through life.
Totally. Gripping the steering wheel so tightly our hands cramp.
Exactly. We are fundamentally convinced that if we can just anticipate every possible disaster, we will finally find peace. But the irony of that psychological mechanism is that the very act of controlling everything creates the exact anxiety we are desperately trying to escape.
Right, it's a vicious cycle. And to find a way out of it, we are turning to a seemingly simple story titled The Wind's Secret Gift.
Such a beautiful book.
It really is. And our mission today is to extract the profound, real-world life wisdom hidden inside its pages. We want to find actionable solutions for that feeling of being trapped by stress.
Because we often overcomplicate our self-help, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. With like 12-step optimization protocols and endless flowcharts. But looking at a pure narrative-driven metaphor might be the exact mental reset your overwhelmed brain needs right now.
Yeah, and the author introduces this reset by placing the main character, a 10-year-old girl named Alara, in a really vivid environment. It acts as this psychological blank slate.
The story opens at dawn, right? Lara's walking through this hushed meadow before sunrise.
Yeah, and the text describes the dew clinging to the grass like tiny jewels. She is inhaling the cool air, genuinely believing that the morning holds a secret waiting to be discovered.
I love that imagery.
Dawn here isn't just a pretty backdrop, It represents the moment before the noise, the emails, and all the obligations of the day hijack your nervous system.
Oh, wow. Yeah. The environment totally sets the stage for how she reacts to the unknown. Because a sudden swirl of breeze lifts her hair, and this disembodied voice introduces itself as Zephyr, the wind.
Which could be terrifying.
Right. If I am alone in a quiet field and an invisible voice starts talking to me, my nervous system is instantly flooded with adrenaline. I mean, I am in full fight or flight mode.
For sure.
But Alara's reaction is entirely different. She looks around the wide sky, and instead of panic, she responds with this bright, open curiosity. I'd love your analysis on why that specific reaction is so crucial here.
Well, that reaction highlights the core difference between the conditioned adult brain and an unburdened mind. Evolutionarily, our adult human brains are hardwired to view the unknown as a threat.
Because the unknown usually meant danger.
Exactly. Our amygdala fires up when unpredictability enters the picture. We are conditioned to assume that any break in our carefully planned script is like a system failure.
Right.
But Alara hasn't built that rigid, fear-based script yet. She has the cognitive flexibility to view an unexpected event as a fascinating mystery rather than an immediate disaster.
Okay, let's bring this tension into the reality of daily life, though. Because it is incredibly easy for a fictional child in a magical dew-covered meadow to be curious about a whispering wind.
Fair point.
But for someone listening right now who's trying to navigate a deeply stressful Tuesday morning commute, the train is stalled. You spilled coffee on your jacket. Your inbox is overflowing. Accessing that dawn-like curiosity feels almost impossible.
It does feel like a stretch.
It feels almost irresponsible to look at a delayed train and think, oh, what a fascinating mystery.
Yeah, but the friction you're feeling there is exactly why this narrative matters. The meadow isn't a physical location you have to visit. I mean, it is an internal landscape you cultivate.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Curiosity is a cognitive muscle you can flex even in the middle of a delayed commute. When that train stops, the conditioned fear response forces you to obsess over the ruined schedule. A schedule which, by the way, you have zero physical power to fix anyway.
True. You're just sitting there stressing.
Right. The Alara response is an active cognitive choice to take a breath, drop the rigid expectation of what the morning should have been, and just observe what actually is.
So you intentionally suspend the panic.
Yes, you just exist in the moment without trying to force it to change.
And that shift from rigid expectation to observation leads directly into the core challenge Zephyr presents to Alara. Before offering her any sort of gift, The wind asks her to define what freedom looks like.
Which is such a massive question for a kid.
It is. And her initial answer essentially mirrors how every adult would answer. She pictures birds soaring above the meadow, and she thinks of summer days roaming without rules or constraints.
Right, she defines freedom based entirely on external conditions. Like, it is a specific physical location or a lack of physical boundaries.
Which is exactly what we do.
Yeah, it represents the ultimate trap of modern adulthood. We treat freedom, peace, and relief as physical destinations that we have to travel toward.
We constantly put our peace of mind on layaway. We tell ourselves we will finally relax when we go on that vacation to Hawaii or, when the promotion comes through.
Or when the kids finally graduate.
Yes. Freedom becomes this finish line we are always running toward but never quite cross.
And by externalizing our internal states like that, we make our peace contingent on an environment we just cannot control.
Since the world will never align perfectly with our demands, we remain in a state of perpetual anxiety.
Exactly. But Zephyr challenges this directly. The wind tells Ilara that freedom is not a place or a shape, but something carried within. It's a feeling you must generate yourself.
So the story is arguing that true freedom is an internal state of being, completely independent of whether you are running through a field or trapped in gridlock traffic.
That's the core message, yeah.
Think about our standard view of freedom as a destination on a GPS app. We plug in the coordinates, the perfect job, the ideal relationship, the empty inbox.
Right.
And we spend the entire journey stressed out, staring at the estimated time of arrival, gripping the steering wheel and getting furious at every single detour. We are just waiting to arrive at freedom.
Which is exhausting.
But Zephyr is telling us that true freedom isn't the destination at the end of the map. It's the engine of the car.
I love that. The engine analogy captures the mechanics of this perfectly. If freedom is the engine, the power source is always available to you, running internally, regardless of your coordinates on the map.
You don't have to wait for the traffic to clear to turn the engine on.
Exactly. But understanding that freedom is an internal mechanism is really just the philosophical groundwork. The brilliance of this narrative is that it provides a tangible behavioral tool to actually switch that engine on.
Yes, the secret gift itself. Zephyr offers Ilara a physical representation of this internal freedom. It's a tiny white feather, described as glimmering and delicate as a sigh.
Such a great visual.
And when she catches it on her palm, it doesn't just lie flat, it hovers in midair. Zephyr points out the mechanics of its flight. It floats without strings and without force, purely by trusting the unseen currents of the air.
And Ilara's immediate reaction isn't joy or relief, is it?
No, she is terrified. The text notes she fears letting go of doubt, of fear, and of the need to control every step.
And that terror is the defining feature of the modern adult psyche. We firmly believe that our constant, agonizing micromanagement is the only thing keeping our lives from plummeting to the ground.
We really do. We use anxiety as a protective shield.
We do. So when the story suggests we just open our hand and let the feather float on unseen currents, the brain's survival instinct screams that this is reckless endangerment. We think if we let go, everything collapses.
I completely relate to that terror. If I am managing a complex corporate project with 50 moving parts, or I'm trying to navigate a crisis in a personal relationship, simply letting go of the feather sounds like terrible advice.
It does sound counterintuitive.
Right. If I stop controlling the project, critical tasks fall through the cracks and the launch fails. If I stop trying to fix the relationship, it might fall apart completely.
Sure.
So how do we apply this metaphor of releasing control without becoming dangerously passive? We cannot just throw our hands up and hope for the best in high-stakes adult scenarios.
No, of course not. We have to clearly distinguish between healthy, aligned action and toxic over-control. To use your project management example, healthy action is setting the sail.
Setting the sail.
Okay. Yeah, you assign the tasks, you establish the timelines, you build the framework, and you communicate clearly. Toxic over-control is trying to blow the wind yourself.
Oh, wow. That hits home.
Right. It's checking your email at 2:00 a.m., rewriting your team's work because you don't trust them, and agonizing over market variables you cannot influence. Letting go of the feather doesn't mean you stop doing your job.
It means you do your part, and then you intentionally release your psychological grip on the ultimate outcome.
Exactly. It is recognizing exactly where your agency actually ends. You trust the unseen currents of your colleagues' competence, the established process, and time itself.
And what about in personal relationships?
In a relationship, you do the work of expressing your feelings honestly and showing up for the other person, but you let go of the desperate need to control how they react to you. You allow the current of the relationship to carry its own weight.
Because grabbing the feather and throwing it forcefully doesn't make it fly better. It ruins the delicate aerodynamics.
Yes. The feather only achieves flight when you allow the environment to support it.
Realizing that you are not the general manager of the universe is a massive psychological relief. And, this specific method of reframing anxiety using a simple narrative to bypass our logical defenses isn't just a happy accident of the story.
No, it's very intentional.
The philosophical weight of this book comes from a very distinct background. The author, Dr. Shu Chen-Hu, holds a PhD from the University of Bristol, but her work actually draws heavily from a family tradition rooted in healing.
Right. Her parents, Mr. Hu Shusan and Mrs. Peng Kaifeng, founded the Yongsheng Herbal Pharmacy in Taiwan.
Wow.
And a traditional herbal pharmacy operates on the principle of using simple, natural elements to bring the physical body back into equilibrium. The values of care, integrity, and deep respect for the natural order were deeply ingrained in that practice.
So she grew up with that.
Yeah, and what Dr. Howe is doing is taking that ancestral legacy of physical healing and translating it into the emotional realm.
That is so cool. Instead of combining physical herbs to create a synergistic healing effect for the body, she's combining narrative elements like character, metaphor, and setting to deliver emotional healing to the mind.
And this approach is deeply subversive in our current information age. We have been conditioned to believe that complex problems require equally complex solutions.
Right. We assume that curing chronic anxiety requires a dense, multifaceted psychological framework.
But the publisher of this book, Koko Shungsan, operates on a very different premise. Their guiding motto is, knowledge changes destiny, education changes the world.
I love that.
Their core methodology is that knowledge must be simple, clear, and deeply meaningful to actually penetrate our daily habits.
It is like taking an incredibly complex, bitter medicine and putting it into a single sweet drop. You can read this story in 10 minutes, but the cognitive shift it demands moving from external panic to internal trust is profound.
It really is.
I highly recommend you visit kokoshungsan.net. That's KOKOSHUNGSSAN.net. If you are exhausted by information overload and want learning resources, ebooks, and educational content that distill wisdom rather than compounding your mental clutter, their platform is just a goldmine for this exact philosophy.
And cultivating that philosophy is essential for the final phase of the narrative, because the story doesn't end with Alara standing perfectly still in a state of enlightenment.
Right. She doesn't get to stay in that serene meadow forever. She has to walk back to her normal life.
Exactly.
The text notes a profound shift as she makes that journey back, though. She walks with a spring in her step, feeling like the ground itself is cheering her on, and she suddenly starts noticing all these hidden gifts around her.
Yeah, the book specifically lists them.
A stranger's kindness that comes from nowhere. A sudden turn of luck. A friend's encouraging word when she least expected it. She carries this quiet strength long into the autumn, knowing she could always find unseen currents lifting her in the face of doubt.
Which is beautiful.
But I want to unpack the mechanics of this with you. Because the world didn't magically transform for her, did it?
No, not at all. The village she returned to had the exact same people and the exact same potential problems as the day before. The transformation was entirely perceptual.
Yeah.
When the human brain is locked in a state of chronic overcontrol, it develops severe tunnel vision. The reticular activating system in our brain literally filters out anything that isn't relevant to the immediate threats we are obsessed with managing.
Wow. So by constantly anticipating disaster, we literally train our brains to only see disaster.
Yes. We become so hyper-focused on the jagged rocks in the river that we completely fail to see the water that is safely carrying us past them.
That is such a powerful way to put it. By releasing her grip on the feather, Alara broadened her perceptual field. She commanded her brain to stop scanning exclusively for threats and to start scanning for unseen currents.
And these hidden gifts aren't mystical forces. I mean, they are the everyday realities of human connection and natural resilience.
We are surrounded by safety nets of community and serendipity that we completely ignore because we're too busy trying to manufacture safety through our own sheer willpower.
We really are.
I want you, the person listening right now, to apply this filter to the last 24 hours of your life.
Right.
Think about how many unseen currents you completely missed today.
There are probably so many.
A door someone held open for you, a stressful project that actually resolved itself without your obsessive input, a perfectly quiet moment with your morning coffee, or just a random stroke of good luck. How many of those hidden gifts evaporated because you were gripping your mental feather too tightly?
Because you were exhausting yourself trying to force the wind to blow your way.
Exactly.
It exposes the ultimate irony of anxiety. We expend monumental amounts of energy trying to protect ourselves from the world, when often the world is actively trying to support us. Alara found lasting strength because she realized she didn't have to be the wind. She just had to allow herself to be carried by it.
Let's bring all these threads together. We started with the exhausting, heavy burden of needing to manage every outcome just to feel safe. And through this children's story, we uncovered a potent psychological mechanism to dismantle that need.
True freedom isn't a flawless set of external circumstances you eventually arrive at. It is the internal engine of trust.
And the practice of letting go isn't passive resignation, is it?
Not at all. It is stepping out of toxic overcontrol and choosing to lean on the natural momentum of life. You do the work, you set the sail, and then you intentionally open your hand.
You shift from a fear of the unknown to a dawn-like curiosity.
Exactly.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to carry into the rest of your week. If the wind represents those unseen forces of hope, serendipity, and human kindness, just waiting to lift you up, what represents the gravity in your life right now?
That's a great question.
What are the heavy assumptions, the rigid expectations, or the exhausting fears that are pulling you down and keeping you from noticing those hidden gifts? And what would happen if, just for tomorrow, you decided to let the wind win?
In a world divided by colors and lines, where fear and hate seem to intertwine, we stand together, voices strong and clear, singing a song of hope that conquers our fear. Ooh, yeah. Love will rise above the battles we fight, casting out darkness with blinding light, with every word kindness, with every act of peace. Love will unite and wars will cease. In the symphony of love, find our voice, breaking down barriers, making a choice to embrace each other in harmony with sway, as love's gentle melody guides our way. So let our song resound from shore to shore, a constant unity forevermore. Hearts entwined, we'll march in peace, for love triumph is as we release. In a world divided by colors and lines, where fear and hate seem to intertwine, we stand together, voices strong and clear, singing a song of hope that conquers our fear. Love will resound from shore to shore, a chorus of unity forevermore. With hearts entwined, we'll march in peace. Love will unite, and wars will cease. Oh, in the symphony of love, we find our voice, breaking down barriers, making the choice to embrace each other in harmony with flame. As love's gentle melody guides our way. So let love's song resound shore to shore, a chorus of unity for us entwined. We'll march in peace, for love's triumph is our sweet to live love song. In the symphony of love, we find our voice, breaking down barriers, making a choice to embrace each other. In the symphony of love, we find our voice, breaking down barriers, making a choice to embrace each other.